Welcome back to round one of the New Zealand Drift Series from Manfield. Top 8 time. Key battles here. Steven Soul taking on Gaz Wider. Johnny Udy and Carl Reutemann, and Adam Richards taking on Mad Mike Wedette. First up though, Gaz Wider in the Toyo Tyres S14 taking on Steven Soul in his R34 fronted R32 Skyline. JT, call the pass.
Gaz Wider taking the lead on the first run. Steven Soul nice and close coming through to turn 2. Nice and tight on that clipping point into the second clipping point. Gaz, a bunch of smoke, nice and close from both cars coming into the hairpin. Steve not giving up, pushing really hard, coming nice and close on the inside clipping point. Will that give him the advantage?
A fairly even pass from both drivers. Gaz with the slight advantage, 55-45 into the second pass.
Gaz Wider initiating on the chase. Steven Soul taking the lead. A bunch of smoke from Soul coming through to the second corner. Gaz not backing off at all, but Steve is laying down a smoke screen, hitting the second clipping point, coming into the hairpin. Gaz doesn't want to let it up. Nice and close. Both apexing that last clipping point.
That's right, JT. It's all about the chase. We just saw a great chase from Gaz Wider. That's why you've got to watch out for him. He'll be seeing you in the top 4. Andrew Redwood, Nankang Performance Tyres S14. He's been a serious player here today, taking on Jonathan Bennett in the Honda S2000 powered AE86. JT, talk us through it.
Redwood coming into the second corner. Jonathan nice and close coming up to the second clipping point. Redwood, both cars nice and close into the hairpin. Looks like he'll get the advantage. Jonathan, can he catch him?
Jonathan's not going to catch him. It's the California droll of Andrew Redwood taking advantage. Second pass, here we come. JT, it's all on Jonathan Bennett as he leads out.
Both cars coming into turn 2. Andrew Redwood having no luck catching him up so far. Jonathan into turn 2, nice and wide on the second clipping point. Redwood slightly closer coming into the hairpin. Redwood closes the gap slightly. Can he catch him up?
According to the judges, the second pass is a 50-50 split, so Redwood, backing up on his earlier advantage, will be going through to the top 4. Before we see the top 4, though, it's Carl Reutemann, defending series champion. Can he make the three-peat, taking on the insane power of Johnny Udy in his LS1-powered twin-turbo Holden GTO?
Reutemann taking the lead. Johnny Udy nowhere to be seen so far. 3, 4, 5 car lengths apart coming into the hairpin. Udy takes a spin.
Spin is 0. Reutemann will be laughing all the way to the second pass, and he's odds on of going through to the top 4. Let's check out the second pass.
Now Johnny's going to have to pressure Reutemann as much as he can in the second pass to see if he can get through to the top 4. Coming through to the final corner. Doesn't look like he's having much luck so far.
A decent lead out by Johnny. He gets a slight advantage, but that spin didn't help him at all as we see Reutemann progressing one step further. He's through to the top 4. Here we are with our final battle of the top 8. It's Adam Richards. He's just returned from the European Drift Championship, taking on New Zealand's favourite son, Mad Mike Wedette in the Quadrotor FD RX7.
Coming into the last corner, Mike nice and close. Adam Richards takes a spin.
Big spin from Adam Richards. It's going to be a 0 now, JT. You know he has all the work to do in the second pass. Can he pressure Mad Mike into making that vital mistake?
Richards taking the lead on the second pass. Mad Mike shortening up, getting nice and close on the second corner, coming through the third apex. Looks like he's cruising, clips the inside cone, coming into the hairpin. Mike reeling him in.
A great chase there by Mad Mike Wedette. We heard that Quadrotor FD RX7 screaming as he hit all those clipping points. Unfortunate for Adam, he's going to be going home, but Mike joining Andrew Redwood, Gaz Wider and Carl Reutemann in your top 4.
First battle for the top 4, round 1. Gaz Wider and Andrew Redwood, both S14 Silvias, 3 S14 Silvias in the top 4.
The top 4, what we've all been waiting for, separating the men from the boys. Gaz Wider taking on Andrew Redwood.
Gaz taking the lead, putting up a smoke screen early in the run. Redwood not backing off whatsoever, coming into the second turn. Nice and close on that clipping point. through to the second clipping point. Redwood is not backing off whatsoever, coming into the hairpin. Gaz, Redwood, this could be anyone's run.
Right on that clipping point from both drivers. Redwood throwing the car around like nobody's business. Too close to call from me. JT, let's get straight into that second pass.
Redwood taking the lead on the second pass. Full lock through the first corner. Even more than Gaz Whiter, but Gaz is nice and close coming through the second clipping point. Slightly wide from Redwood. Gaz, smoke just steaming off the back tyres, coming into the hairpin. Gaz doesn't want to let down. Nice and close.
The judges have spoken, JT. A slight advantage to Gaz in the first pass. The second pass, they call it 50-50, but Gaz is going to be stepping through to yet another final. Redwood got to be happy, but he's not going into the final. It's between these two guys to see who will be taking on Gaz. Mad Mike, the Red Bull RX-7, Carl Reutemann, Mr. Consistent in the ENH Motors S14.
First battle, Carl Reutemann looks to be taking the lead. Mad Mike doesn't want to give it up. Power flat to the floor from both cars coming into the second clipping point. Mike clips it again, splacks off his front bumper coming into the hairpin. Mike slightly low. I don't know who's got this one.
Well, the last time these drivers met in Taupo, Mad Mike defeated Carl. Before that in Christchurch, Mad Mike also defeated Carl. Let's check out the second pass. It's all on the judges now.
Mike doing his best to lay down a smoke screen for Carl Reutemann. Through to the second clipping point, Mike nice and close. Reutemann doesn't want to let down. Into the hairpin. Both cars, no one can gain on each other.
The judges can't separate them. JT and I can't separate them. The judges are going to send them to a rerun. The crowd is screaming one more time, JT.
These drivers can't be separated into the final corner.
Mad Mike right up there in the chase, shadowing everything Reutemann does, but Reutemann not putting a foot wrong. The judges have spoken. JT, we are going to see our first double rerun in NZ Drift history.
Mad Mike with a huge understeer through the first corner, goes slightly wide on the second corner, drops a wheel off, but could the judges see it from their point of view?
Obviously they can, JT, because they've scored the first pass, 75-25 to Reutemann. No pressure on Reutemann now, all the pressure on Mad Mike. What can he do?
Mike doing a nice clean run so far. Reutemann nice and close coming into the hairpin. Reutemann squeezing up on him. Takes a spin on the last corner.
No pressure on Reutemann at all, and he's spun.